Hello friends, in the last session we have started a discussion of elements of statistics, in which we have so far covered introduction and definition of statistics, which are given by the different eminent authors. At the same time, we also try to touch upon the statistics and characteristics of statistics. At the same time, we also covered functions and limitation of statistics. And in the last program, we also discussed the distrust of statistics, and we also started a discussion of primary and secondary data. Now, in this part of the program, I would like to resume the discussion of primary and secondary data. At the same time, we will also discuss the classification of data so collected. At the same time, we will also discuss the frequency distribution, in which I would like to discuss the types of variables. And at the last, I would like to discuss how to format the discrete frequency class. First of all, I would like to discuss different methods of collecting primary data. The first method is direct personal interviews. Now, in this method, we have to contact face to face with the persons from whom the information is to be obtained. Now, under this method of collecting primary data, we have to contact units of investigation, units of inquiry, so as to collect required information from these persons. And this method is highly useful when we have to collect information only from those persons who are the units of the investigations. Now, so far as information so collected under this method, definitely they are original in character. At the same time, information so collected from these persons are required to be kept in secret. This method is highly useful only when the study is to be conducted intensively. At the same time, the study of investigation is limited so far as area or persons are concerned. Now, second method is indirect oral interviews. Now, under this method, the investigator contacts third parties called witness capable of supplying the necessary information, as the units of the inquiry are not inclined to respond if approached directly. Now, under this type of the method of collecting primary data, we have to collect information not directly from the units of the investigations, but we have to collect information from those persons who are related to units of the investigations, because the persons for whom the informations are required may not be in a position to supply required informations. They may feel reluctant in supplying the informations. For example, in an inquiry regarding addiction to drugs, etc., people may be reluctant to supply information about their own habits. So, in this problem, definitely indirect oral interview is highly useful. Now, inquiry commission appointed by the government generally adopt this method to get all possible details of facts relating to the inquiry. So far as the inquiry commission is concerned, that is appointed by the government so as to look into the particular matter. Now, inquiry commission conducts interviews indirectly so as to collect required informations. Now, next is informations from correspondents. Under this method, the investigator appoints local agents or correspondents in different places to collect informations. Newspaper agencies generally adopt this method. Now, so far as under this type of the method is concerned, the investigator appoints required agents, or we can say correspondents, in different areas so as to find out, so as to collect, obtain required informations for the specific purpose. Now, this method is normally adopted by the newspaper agencies or electronic medias. Now, government departments also adopt this method, where regular information is to be collected from a wide area. So far as this method is concerned, this is adopted by the government departments so as to collect required informations which are related to different areas. Now, information relating to roads, flood, etc. are collected definitely under this type of the method. And construction of wholesale price index numbers and crops estimates. Now, information in respect of wholesale price index and definitely in respect of crops estimates, these informations are collected by the government department under this type of the method. Now, this method is highly useful where information is to be obtained at regular interviews from a wide areas. Now, this method is adopted only when the investigating agency is required to get regular informations which are related to a particular area. Now, fourth is mail questionnaire method. Under this method, a list of questionnaire is prepared and sent to the various informants by post along with a request letter to fill up the questionnaire and send it back within a specified period. Now, under this type of the method for collecting primary data, a questionnaire is formed, and this is formed in such a manner to collect required information from those to whom the questionnaire is sent. Now, this method is suitable in respect of cases where informants are spread over a wide areas. Now, since this method is adopted so as to collect information from those persons who are not located in a particular area, but they are spread over a wide areas. So, in this connection, this method is highly useful. And next is schedules sent through enumerators. Under this method, enumerators contact the informants and get replies to the questions contained in the schedules. Now, under this type of the method for collecting primary data, first of all schedules are prepared and they are sent along with the enumerators so as to get the information from those to whom the informations are required to be collected. Now, this method is suitable because that overcomes all the shortcomings of the questionnaire method. At the same time, under this type of the method, high rate of response because of the personal contact of the enumerators. Because under this method, enumerators contact along with the schedules with the persons for whom the informations are required. So, information so collected will be definitely we can say reliable. At the same time, they get the highest response from those persons with whom the enumerators contact. But that is not so in case of questionnaire methods, because questionnaire is sent to the persons whether they are sent well in time, that they are filled up by the we can say responded in a correct manner or not, that is always doubtful. But that is not so in case of schedules sent through enumerators methods. Now, we discuss what are the sources of collecting secondary data. Secondary data are always published, sometimes they remain unpublished. So, they are classified under two heads: published sources and unpublished sources. The published sources we discuss first of all. Now, reports and official publication of international bodies. Now, whenever we require information from published we can say sources, then first source is international publications and reports of the international bodies, in which we can cover the World Bank. Now, World Bank provides day to day or we can say from time to time informations in respect of the bulletin, in respect of the annual reports, and they are highly useful for researchers and those who are doing investigations. At the same time, International Labour Organization also publishes required informations. Whenever we require information in respect of labor problems, then definitely International Labour Organization publications is highly useful. After that, Statistical Office of UNO, those information which are supplied by the Statistical Office of UNO is also useful for collecting secondary data. And second is central and state government. Central government and state government also publishes we can say various we can say bulletin, various we can statement in respect of financial, in respect of social problems, so we can say plannings of the government, and definitely whenever we get informations in this regard, we require the information from those we can say reports which are published by the central and state government. And third is reports of the committees and commissions appointed by the central and state government. So, we also consult the reports which are published by the committee and commissions appointed by the central and state government for the research purposes. Then semi-official publications of the local bodies, that is also used for getting required informations. And next is publication of autonomous and private institute. Under this head we can include Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry. Those publications which are brought out by Indian Chambers of Commerce Industry is highly used for researchers. At the same time, Institute of Chartered Accountants also publish required informations, and that can also be used for research purposes. And Institute of Foreign Trade, all the publications brought out by the Institute of Foreign Trade also useful if we want to conduct we can say research in respect of the international trade. And next is financial and economic journals, in which we can include Economic Review, RBI Bulletin. These are very useful for research purposes. And at the last, an annual report of joint stock companies and corporations. Since joint stock companies are required to bring out we can say annual reports, At the same time, we can get the informations in respect of a particular company with the help of the annual reports brought out by the joint stock company at the end of the financial year. Now, note in this connection is very important, publication vary with regard to the periodicity. Now, so far as the publications are concerned, some institutes publish we can say monthly bulletin, some institutions may publish annual publications. So, that can be consulted on the basis of their own requirement. And second is unpublished sources. Now, unpublished sources so far is concerned, the information they remain unpublished, but they can be obtained from the government offices for the research purposes. So, various sources of unpublished data such as records maintained by the various government and private offices can be consulted for research purposes, and such resources can be used by the research institutions and scholars. So far we discussed two types of the methods for collecting primary and secondary data. Now we discuss data so collected, how they are classified. So, classification of data. After collection and editing of data, the first step towards further processing the same is classification. Now, data so collected will be classified according to the needs of the investigator. Now, classification of data is a function very similar to that of sorting letters in a post office. Now, if we see that so far as the sorting letters in post office is concerned, first of all, letters are collected by the post office on the city wise, on the basis of the locality, the letters are sorted out. In the same manner, data so collected are classified according to desired manner. Now, what are the types of the classification? First is geographical and area wise. Now, data so collected may be related to area. For example, they may relate to state, they may relate to country, they may relate to we can say district, and they are considered as geographical classification. And second is chronological on the basis of time. Whenever informations are collected which are in relation to the period of the time, they are considered as chronological order. Next is qualitative according to some attributes. Whenever we collect information whether a particular attribute is present or particular attribute is absent. In this connection, qualitative types of classification is made. Next is quantitative or in terms of magnitude. All those information which can be expressed in terms of numbers, that is called quantitative, we can say in terms of magnitude. For example, if you want to classify the information in relation to income, in relation to productions, then definitely that is considered as quantitative or in terms of magnitude. Now, we discuss all these types of the classification. The first is geographical classification. Data are classified on the basis of geographical differences between the various items like states, cities, region, etc. Classifications are usually based in alphabetical order for easy reference. Whenever data are classified, they are related to we can say country wise, they are related to state wise, district wise, then definitely that is regarded as geographical classification. If you want to collect the information in respect of the food production taking place in different states, then definitely this is considered as geographical classification. So, classification will be made in alphabetical order, or we can say the classification will take in the manner so that it should be in the alphabetical order. So, for example, if we collect the information of the food production in Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, or we can say Maharashtra, Rajasthan, then definitely they must be presented in alphabetical order. Second is chronological classifications. Data series are observed over a period of time. Now, time series are usually listed in chronological order starting with earliest period. Whenever informations are obtained in relation to we can say period of time, then this is called a chronological order, or we can say when we collect the information related to or we can say year wise, month wise, or we can day wise, then definitely this is called chronological classification. For example, if you get the information regarding food production taking place in different years, in different we can say state, in different countries, then definitely that is considered as chronological classification. Then qualitative classification. When facts cannot be expressed in terms of number, or we have to collect information on the basis of the qualities, whether it is present or absent, then definitely this is considered as qualitative classification. When facts are classified on the basis of the descriptive attributes like literacy, religion and profession etc., it is called qualitative classification. Now, types of classification so far as qualitative classification is concerned. The first is classification according to dichotomy. Facts are classified on the basis of the presence and absence of one attribute. When facts are classified only in respect of the one attribute, whether it is present or absent, then this is called the classification according to dichotomy. Presence of attribute is expressed in capital letters such as A, B and C etc., and the absence in the terms of small letters such as A, B, C etc., or Greek letters. So, A can be considered as alpha, B that stands for beta and Y stands for gamma. So, in this case we can say when we have to calculate information, we have to classify information whether a particular quality is absent or present, then this is called the classification according to dichotomy. For example, if the literacy is there or not along with the we can say male members and female members, then definitely this is regarded as classification according to dichotomy. And second is manifold classifications. Facts are classified on the basis of the presence and absence of more than one attribute for which more than two groups are formed. Whenever we have to collect information and classified on the basis of the more than one attributes. For example, if we take out male and female along with we can say marriage with literacy, marriage with illiteracy, then definitely this is regarded as manifold classifications. The population of a specified place may be classified on the basis of the three attributes under this type of the classification. Now, this can be explained with this example. Now, there are two types of the we can say male and females. Male is A and female is alpha. Now, if we make the we can say association male with married, male with unmarried, it means those males who are married, then it is considered as A and B in this or we can say that male is married with literate or literate that stands for C, and male unmarried that is with we can say illiterate, or we can say the male married and literate that can be we can say associated at the same time male unmarried, literate and illiterate that can be associated, and this type of the association can be formed in respect of the females. So, that we have discussed so far the qualitative informations are concerned and how they are classified. Now, we discuss quantitative classifications. Quantitative classification is always expressed in terms of numbers. Quantitative classification refers to the classification of data according to some characteristics that can be measured. For example, if the height of 40 students of a class lies between 150 and 170 centimeters, the classification in a class interval of 5 centimeters will be as under. Now, so far as the quantitative classification is concerned, definitely this is respect of those informations that can be measured in terms of numbers. Now, this can be explained with the help of this example. Now, first of all, we have to make the class intervals of the height in centimeters, that starts with 150 to 155. It means number of students are 2 whose height is between 150 and less than 155, because 155 is lowest in the next class interval, and next class interval is 155 to 160, in which we find number of students that is 6, and next is 160 to 165, 16. It indicates that there are 16 students whose height is between 160 and less than 165, and next is 165 to 170, and number of students who are having this height is 9, and their height is between 165 but less than 170, and next is 170 and 175, and number of students is 4, and lastly 175 and 180, and number of students is 3, and total number of students is 40. So, that indicates that we have to make first of all the class intervals on the basis of the height, and according to that we have the we can say variables, we have to have the frequency of the students. Now, we discuss the frequency distribution. Now, that refers to data classified on the basis of some variables that can be measured, such as price, wages and age, number of units produced and consumed. So far as the frequency distribution is concerned, that is always in relation to some variables, and that can be again measured in terms of figures such as price, wages, height, etc. Now, basic factors of frequency distribution. First of all, we have to see the variables. Refers to characteristics that varies in amount and magnitude in a frequency distributions. Variable always in respect of some characteristic, say price, wages, etc. Now, variable may be either continuous or discrete. First is continuous variable, that is capable of manifesting every conceivable fractional value within the range of the possibilities. Now, continuous variable means there is a conceivable fraction value within the range of the possibilities, and this is expressed with the help of this example. When a student may grow from 90 centimeter to 150 centimeter, he may be 90.5, 91, 92, 93, 93.5. In this way, they may grow in this range. So, it is called, we can say, conceivable fractional value, and this is also considered as continuous value. Now, his height passes through all values between these limits. So, this is regarded as continuous variables. And second is discrete variables. Now, it can vary only by finite jumps and cannot manifest every conceivable values. So, discrete variable that lies not between the two variables, but that we can say is that vary only by jumps. We can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this way. Now, this can be explained with the help of this example. The number of rooms in a school can take only certain values 1, 2, 3, etc. So, we can say they cannot be in the fractional values. Now, we discuss this example. The first is discrete variables. Now, number of students is 0 and number of families is 10. That indicates that there are 10 families whose there is no children in that family. At the same time, we got 40 families in which the number of children is not more than 1. At the same time, number of families, that is 80, where number of children is not exceeding 2, and number of families 100, where number of children is not more than 3, and total number of families is 230. But in case of continuous we can say variable, first of all we have to make the class intervals, and that is 100 and 110, 110 and 120, 120 and 130. Now, number of persons 10 means those persons whose weight is lying between 100 but less than 110, because 110 is the lowest in the next class interval. In the second class interval we get 110 and 120, but number of person is 15, and number of persons 40 whose weight lies between 120 but less than 130. So, these are the two unique examples of discrete variables and continuous variables. Now, we discuss how to form a discrete frequency class. Marks obtained out of 10 by 20 students of a class are 0, 4, 6, 3, 2, 4, 5, 3, 4, 1, 5, 2, 3, 4, 4, 6, 1, 8, 7, 4, 7. So, these marks were obtained by the 20 students out of 10. Now, they are presented in a discrete frequency class. The marks is 0, and tally bars means how many we can say frequency or how many students have got 0 marks. If we analyze this we can say informations, we get that there is only one student who has got 0 marks. So, tally bars is that is 1 and frequency is 1. In this way, if we analyze this informations, we get there are 2 students who have got 1 number, therefore, frequency is 2, and in this way there are again 2 students who have secured 2 numbers. In this way, we have prepared frequency distribution of the informations in respect of the marks obtained by the students. So, far the tally bars are concerned, whenever the number of frequency exceeds 4, then we have the cross tally bars. In this way, we get the 5, and when the 5 frequencies are there, then another we have to form again group of the tally bars. In this way, we calculate the tally bars so as to calculate the frequency or the number of the students obtained marks so far as this example is concerned. In this part of the program, we have discussed different methods for collecting primary and secondary data, At the same time, we also covered the classification. Under this head, we have discussed different types of the classifications, and we also tried to cover frequency distribution, in which we have discussed the variables and types of the variables, say discrete and continuous variables. And at the last, we have discussed how to form discrete frequency class. Thank you.